This is my Black & Decker. It's a 282 550. So if you look in the manual, it says the 282 is one model and the 560 or 50 is the other model. They give it different shipping weights, so I don't know what that's about, but if you have one of these, you can get the manual off Beam Equipment. I don't think I have a card or anything for them, but if you just look up Beam Equipment, they sell a whole bunch of machine shop stuff. So I got this thing a while back, a couple months ago, and I needed some stuff to get it back up and going. So I got a new drive belt. There's a motor under here. The motor casing was actually broke, so I had to weld that back together. And the motor has a pump on the end of it to pump the fluid, and all the internals for that pump are gone. So I got a little like Chinese pump, and I put it on there because that's all I could find. I couldn't find like an American made one, unfortunately, because I'd like to keep this thing all USA. It was made in Maryland. I don't know the exact year of it, not really sure, but I did the new belt. So you take this wheel off, and then the shiv comes apart, the two-piece shiv. Pull those out, you slide the belt down in there, and then the new pump, obviously. And then your coolant, which is what the pump's for, you can switch it from side to side, which is pretty cool. It's not just constantly running on both sides. And then this has a gearbox. This is kind of like a grinder head. You can see the brushes go in there, and it drives that. And then you got to keep fluid in there. And there's these little grease fittings. Well, they tell you to put oil in them, but so you got to do that. Like I said, if you get the manual, it tells you like all the greasing and stuff like that. I had to replace all the coolant lines underneath it. And then I got new wheels from Beam also. So when you get the new wheels, you can't just use them. You got to put the diamond dressing bib on, which goes in there. It's this right here. So this, you slide in there, and then you work the wheel back and forth across it. And then it says not to overload it. You don't want to see a ton of heat because you can you can heat up the steel enough, and then the diamond will fall out. And I haven't dressed this one yet, so I may do that in the video. I'll dress this. But that's a Magnum valve, exhaust valve for a Magnum. It's not fully cleaned up, as you can still see. There's still a couple, if I'll focus. There's still a couple, sorry, come on, there you go. You can see a little dot there. But the one thing that kind of sucks about it is, like, you can push a valve all the way in. So you're gonna have to adjust for it every time. You're gonna have to touch off, and then there is increments on the wheel. So you have to watch that carefully when you're doing that. Just to make sure you don't take more off one than the other, but there's increments on this one also for stem. And then, so your valve will sit in there, and then you touch it off. So this one will be the same every time for the most part. And then this is, so I bought like this table and a whole bunch of stuff. So this is actually pretty cool. This is a tool to set your stem height. Like if you have it on the engine, you can pull it off. It's pretty neat. I forget what the actual name for it is, but you can kind of see how it resembles a valve, and then you place it here, and then you set it, blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Like I had no clue what most of this stuff was. So luckily when I read through the manual, it explained most of the stuff. And then I don't have it over here, but I got actual valve grinding fluid or oil, whatever they want to call it, through Beam. So I got all this stuff. So this table, that valve seat grinder, the dressing, that's for dressing stones for that. And then all these pilots, the air hammer stuff, a bunch of shims, which are all mismatched and all over the place now, so I'm not going to do anything with them. But all these stones you can see, just lots of stuff. Oh, and I got that for crack detection. So I got the powder for that also, and the applicator from Beam. You see that down there. But this valve spring tester and this table, I got it all for 800 bucks. And then I probably put, I think like $200 or $300 into stuff to get it going the rest of the way. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good deal. And this is where you set your angle on your valve. So right now it's on 45, because that's what most gas engines are, is 45-degree seats. And I'll go get a dial indicator and I'll show you the run out on this. It's actually really good. It's not even a thousandth. Well, hopefully it's the same on video now, but
All right, so I got to eat my words a little bit. It is about 1,000, but you can see there, it's about 1,000. But I mean, I think that's pretty good for an older machine, and especially getting started with the low cost of it. I think I'll be fine. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, and yeah, just wanted to show it off. Just keeping this American stuff alive and keeping Mopars happy with it, and go from there. Could use a paint job for sure, but still works as intended. Also in the manual, there's like an attachment where you can do rocker arms on it, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't think I got that, or I didn't pay close enough attention, but so now I'm gonna kick it on, and then I'm gonna dress this wheel just to show you guys. So it's up and running now. My coolant's on. It comes on automatically and kick that switch, and then this switch turns that head on. For a cut and evenly across. So in the manual, it actually tells you to run your thumb across it for even wear. And definitely felt some rough spots. As you can see, there's still some lines. I don't know how perfectly smooth it's supposed to be. I just said run your thumb across it, and it feels kind of rough still, so I'm gonna go back over it. So now it's smooth, and I ran my thumb across it. It feels good. So this is the diamond out of that. So you just unscrew that. Then you just put your valve in it. It's just a random valve that the guy had laying around when I got it. He did all big block Chevy stuff, so I'm assuming it's a big block Chevy. But I'll put that in, then we'll grind the stem on it. I think that was a little big of a cut, but we're gonna. So you can see there's the stab. Maybe if I pointed at it, it'd help. If this camera would focus, that'd be great. All right, let me pull it out. Come on. There we go. You can see that. So I'm having problems with repeatability on the stem. Grinding, you can see like where it'll grind half or just like the tip if I move it. So I don't know if this is gonna work or if I'm gonna screw something up, but I'm gonna put lapping paste on there, and then I'm gonna turn this with a drill since I know this is round from the dial indicator. And I'm gonna put that in there, spin it, and then hopefully it'll clean up this because this has a little bit of surface rust. So I think that's what might be causing that. But I'm gonna give that a shot, and if it screws something up, I'll let you know. Okay, so after I cleaned up these pads, you can see where the valve wore into it with the grinding compound. Then I cleaned up the ways that it sits in, and that helped a ton. So I changed it, and I just barely touched the wheel to put more pressure on it, and then went back over it, and it cleaned it all up. So I'd say that's a success. And then I twisted it once more, did it again without moving the wheel, and it didn't take anything off anywhere. So I'll say that worked pretty good. Not really sure how you'd like check it for straightness. I don't know if that's like a thing really. I mean, I'm sure it is, but I just don't know like how you'd do that. So like if it's sitting flat, parallel, and parallel, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you put like a straight edge and measure it down, but I mean, I don't think you'd be able to pick up enough across it to tell if it wasn't or it was. So yeah, that's my surfacer. If you want to see more, let me know more about, or want to know more about it or show you. I wish I would have filmed everything underneath. It's bolted down and there's fluid in the tank, and the tank's kind of a pain to pull out because the hose is attached to it. So you only have so much hose before it goes out to flip it over. So you'd have to drain it, flip it over to show you. But yeah, I wish I would have took pictures and videos of that. But yeah, this is my machine. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe for more home machine shop stuff. I haven't really shown any of my other stuff. I have this, that's a Tobin ARP VGS 20,000. And then that's a Sun and Rod home and a boring bar over there, Van Orman 944S. But I'm gonna finish grinding all these valves and I'm gonna lap them in my Magnum head, and then I'll show you that in some other video. All right, so I took everything back apart and greased everything. You see the grease slobbered all over everything. That feed screw up there I took apart and cleaned it all out. But this is my little pump that I was telling you about, and then that's the belt. So this just slides around, and then you can't see where I welded it, but there's an ear that it hangs off of up there, and that's all welded up. So there's my feed lines, they go up into there. Those are drain lines. My one drain line is rubbing on the belt. You can see it back there, that fresh black. So gotta do something about that. But yeah, I figured I'd show you guys that since I took it all back apart.